I'm so glad that you are joining me for a rolling practice. Rolling, when approached from a somatic and embodied perspective, holds a great deal of value in helping us to become aware of where we might be holding tension or where there is some habitual patterning in the body. And it's really a conversation with your body and the ground, with gravity, your fluid body. And it also incorporates a lot of developmental patterning in it. So it can show us where we are lacking connection, or we could also say where we're lacking process. So I'm going to invite you to simply notice how you move in and out of the ground. We could make this more complex, but this practice is going to be a very basic rolling practice. Notice how you move into the ground and notice how you move out of the ground. The maximum surface of your body is in relationship with support. And that is going to give you a lot of feedback. We tend to be in the same repetitive positions and patterns in our daily life, even in our exercise. So our feedback decreases, and therefore our choices decrease. And it's this lack of information and lack of connection that can lead to injury or, plateauing, or even just kind of feeling stuck. So, because this isn't just a physical thing, this is psychological and emotional and spiritual. So we can't move without moving all of ourselves. Okay, now what I'd also like to say is, if being on the ground doesn't work for you, somatics should be accessible. You can do this in a chair and just follow along with my guidance in the chair. And I'll offer you some extra things while we're moving into this. So, all right, so if you're interested in rolling with me, come on down or up in your chair. So I'm going to invite you to take your feet a little wider than your hips. And just bringing your knees in towards each other. If you're sitting in a chair, it's just to find a comfortable position where you don't feel like you have to hold yourself. Arms can just open out to the side. And before we move, let's just learn how to be where we are. We're very much conditioned to get to the next thing. There's so much value in just learning how to be where you are. And I invite you to notice all the places of your body that are in contact with the ground. So we're going to be working with something, called tone. And I'm going to give you a visual to work with while you're just resting here. So high tone. High tone is like a balloon that's like so blown up you think it's going to burst. And a balloon like that is going to have a hard time resting on the ground. It's going to be bouncing all over the place. It can't settle down. Low tone is the, balloon 5 days after the birthday party that somebody forgot about, and it's like kind of bouncing around the floor. Doesn't know how to, float on up. It's low tone. So this rolling practice is going to bring us into awareness of our tone by being where we are. And then we're going to work with it in a way by either, finding that we're going to release and unwind and find more of that yielding into the ground. Will be less of that high tone balloon that can't relax. And we also might have places in us that are that, birthday party balloon that need to find a little bit more push. that need to find a little bit more rebound. So, here we go. Just starting to move the legs. They sway from one side to the other. Remembering that in our somatic practices, the most important part about it is your sensory experience of yourself moving, what you're feeling inwards. So there's no directions of the legs go exactly here and we do exactly that. It's really more about guiding, yeah? So you can't do this wrong. So just inviting you to sway your legs. And what if you were like a water balloon? The water would keep rolling underneath of you so that you are continually your own source of support. What do you feel like doing this? Is it easy for you to soften your body into the ground and roll into and out of the ground in yourself? I think in any new practice, it just takes time. So give yourself permission to soften. Give yourself permission to slow down in this sway. Now, if you're in your chair, you could weight shift from one side to the other. And you could also just rotate around, kind of pivot around your chair and just let your legs spiral. It's less about what it looks like on the outside, and it's more about the feeling on the inside. This is how we can repattern. Now you can continue to roll to one side, and then you could roll so this arm that's behind you can start to come around. You're rolling like that little water balloon or a little sandbag shifting. I invite you to rest here. Maybe you can find a little bit more weight into the earth. And then let's roll back any way you want. You could, your arm could reach back, or you could just simply roll onto your back. Slow. Maximum surface. Could we go the other way? Take your time. So if you notice holding, let it go. If you notice numbness or something sort of dragging, give it a little breath, give it a little push. Here we go to the other side. Oh, let your breath breathe. Rest here. Feel the weight of your body into the ground. And then when you're ready, roll back. Oh, maximum surface of your body gets to have this conversation. Don't skip anything. Bringing yourself back. Let's pause here again. Can we be where we are? And what does it feel like to be here now? Is it different? And I want you to know that it's okay if you're not sure, or you're like, no, I don't actually feel that different. There's a reason why it's called somatic practices. I don't call it exercises. It's a practice. And when we're talking about repatterning, and we can just roll to come and sit up, this can take time. And many times it's not on the timeline that we might want. It's on the timeline that it is. So that's also why it's a wonderful thing to practice learning to be where you are. So I hope you enjoyed this somatic embodied rolling practice with me. I'd love to hear your feelings and your thoughts about it, so you can always, like this video and put your comments in below. I do read them. All right, take good care of yourself.